Okay, today's May 18th, and we're doing a podcast a little early because you got some stuff you got to do with your family.
The Investitude podcast.
Yes, excuse me, the Investitude podcast. Because you got some
Sponsors
stuff.
need to get mentioned.
I know. And you got stuff to do early today with your family, so we'll get this out there. And I'm going
to head over to do a little hit for CNBC, too. In top of the show, noon show, I won't be on the top, but I'll do a little unusual activity.
Okay.
So I can't share that with you now, but I can preview it.
Okay. So I saw a headline, and I said Ken Griffin gave away $20 million to Bruce Rauner. We're going to do a little Illinois politics today. And you looked at me like with this kind of crazy, like, huh?
Yeah, because I thought you said Ken Griffin.
Yeah, I did.
And Ken Griffin is a baseball player, African-American baseball player of, phenomenal skills. And I was trying to think, okay, does he want to get involved in politics? Because that's one reason you'd give Rauner $20 million. Or does he have a business or a group of businesses that he thinks will benefit from Rauner's leadership in Illinois? And then
I reread the headline.
The headline was that Ken Griffin, the richest man in Illinois.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. He is, of course, the founder of Citadel. Ken is
disclosure. You do kind of know him, right?
I know him. I spoke at his conference this last year when he asked me to. Ken's a great guy. I sold a business to him back in 2004. I sold our floor trading operation to him. Great businessman, great philanthropist. He employs, I think, 1,000 people at least in Illinois on the trading side, and everything from high-frequency trading to his hedge fund and so forth. Citadel is one of the biggest, and it's made Ken a very wealthy man. He's worth at least $6 billion.
And I said to you, what's he doing giving $20 million to Rauner, who doesn't need $20 million? And I said, is he going to say, he's going to get some tax break so that he can make his $20 million back? He's got $6 billion. Rauner doesn't need the money.
Right.
So,
But he's spent, both of them have spent a lot. This brings, I guess, Griffin's total donations just to the governor of Illinois, Bruce Rauner, brings his contributions, I think, to $70 million or something like that in total. It's either 35 or 70. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, folks. But back to your first question, why would he do it? Again, when we thought
That's
it was
a lot of commercials to assault my eyeballs.
Oh yeah, but he would do it because either number one, he wants to be in politics himself, just like when you suggested it was Ken Griffin, or two, he has businesses here, and given who Ken Griffin is, I'll throw a third out, and that is that he's a philanthropic guy and he doesn't think a Democratic agenda works in this state. Look what it's done to our state. We have the lowest credit rating of any state in the union. Only Puerto Rico, outside of the union,
you're going to get a lot of hate. Haven't you gotten enough hate this week?
No, I need more hate.
You're going to get some local hate,
but I'm not going to yell. I can be animated without yelling. Stop yelling
at me, John.
Yeah. Well, it's never good if a guy comes across as bullying, and especially if it's with a friend like Stephanie. So
that's so yesterday. That's so 2 days ago.
I was wrong. Moved on.
Let's pick up some local hate.
But as far as local hate here, Rauner spent
we were at the lowest credit rating,
$30 or
states.
$40 million of his own money, Andrew, because Michael Madigan and Cullerton are two of the big politicians in this state. One runs the Senate, one runs the House of Illinois, not U.S., but Illinois House and Senate. And they have not reformed a damn thing. Theft goes on all the time. And the reason we have the lowest credit rating is when we had the money, they didn't fund the pensions. So now they've got unfunded pension liabilities that run into the billions. And that's not good. So Rauner, who makes, made $1 billion or more in private equity, decides I'm going to run for governor. He wins. Now he's running for re-election. Ken Griffin believes in his vision, and I think Ken Griffin has political aspirations as well. I'm not the first guy to say it. I think it's very likely that he will run for some high office, whether it's Senate or presidential, time will tell. but I've seen him present.
I can't see him running for Senate.
I don't
Really?
know. But I've seen him present in front of large groups of really smart investors. You know, again, since he runs Citadel, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, and has one of the best track records out there, he has a lot of disposable income. So, for instance, he's given at least 2 paintings that I know of, Andrew, to the art museum here in Chicago, and each painting was worth more than $55 million.
So
just gave them away. Just, donated them.
All right.
Bought them, donated them.
Do you think we could get clickbait if I put in, like, Ken Griffin for 2020?
I bet it's taken. That would be one thing you could check.
No, like put it in the title of this podcast.
Oh, yeah, you could do that, but you could also check and see if the website's already taken. Because I think, in all likelihood, that Ken is willing to run at some point in the future for very high office in the U.S. So back to where we started the conversation, why would he give another $20 million to this campaign? Because A, he believes in Bruce Rauner's vision for Illinois. B, he knows that you're still going to have to win even more seats. Like I say, Rauner gave $30 or $40 million of his own money to beat back several of the Democrats around the state to break their supermajority. So now they took back Republicans took back several Senate seats in Illinois and several House seats in Illinois. That means that perhaps some of his legislation, some of his vision can move forward. Of course, the Democrats are going to say, well, it's the same Trump vision and he wants to enslave everybody or whatever. I don't think so. I think Democrats have had their shot at this state for 100 years, and they've driven it right into the crapper as far as debt rating and so forth. You look around the city, Andrew, nothing but cranes, right? Yeah. Everywhere. North side, near south side here, west side, nothing but cranes. Big buildings going up. Illinois is booming. Why do we have this staggering debt? Because they keep stealing the money, and they don't pay into the pensions that they're obligated to pay into, and the problem becomes bigger and bigger, and Rauner wants to change that, and they don't like that idea.
But aren't the cranes good? That's progress.
Cranes are great. Cranes show you that people believe in the city and want to provide housing or offices or whatever in the city. It's a great sign. But how do you have... If you went around to the other 50 states and you looked around at their lead city, whether it's Minneapolis in Minnesota or whether it's Madison in Wisconsin or wherever, you would not see this kind of activity, this furious activity of buildings because young people want to live here.
Yep.
People, once they have their kids out of high school or in college, want to move into the city from the suburbs. I mean, Chicago is booming. So why do we have this problem with our debt? It's because the Democrats have not addressed the problems that I already cited.
All right. So more to come on this. This is a little bit of...
Send the hate.
This is the diversion.
I'm in a good mood. Send the hate anyway.
All right, but it's different to change it up. We're not always talking about stocks.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be about Trump every day. By the way, that was a nice thing last night when Mueller was appointed to be not a special prosecutor, but to investigate and have unlimited access to everything. So we're not going to have a bipartisan House and Senate investigation, which really, these are not the brightest bulbs, folks, in the House and Senate. But this guy is respected by virtually everybody in politics. He was appointed the week or two before 9/11. He ran all the way through Bush's term, and Obama reappointed him as FBI head. And now he is the guy that's going to be looking into this. He will run it to ground, and we will have an answer.
And you said something profound this morning. I'm going to put you on record for this.
What's that?
Careful what you look for.
That's right.
Because if he looks and he finds it's not a one-way street.
No, he's got unlimited access to all of the data, to all of the investigations that to this date have been kept quiet because they are in the national security interest and so forth. You've heard Clapper talk about it as well as McMaster and so forth. But now this guy will have access to all that. So if some of this leads back to Hillary Clinton and you start pulling on that string and you start getting more stuff there.
Like a sweater.
I'm telling you, they better be careful what they wish for because now they got it. Now they got this investigation that's going to go on. And if the former president, Barack Obama, when he told Medvedev, don't worry, tell Putin, tell Vlad not to worry, that once I get reelected, I'll have more ability to work with you guys.
More to come.
There'll be a lot of strings pulled on in this investigation, I guarantee.
Okay.
All right. Well, remember, folks, you can always subscribe to the podcast through iTunes or YouTube. We'd love to get your comments, even if it's hate. If it's love, we'll, of course, appreciate that.
Like hate better.
And tell a friend about the podcast.